How's it going, everyone? Got quite a bit to talk about in this video. We have an update on a free-to-play title dropping on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. The PC launch will be happening very soon. You'll have to wait a little bit longer on PS4 and PS5. We'll give you the heads up on that. The PlayStation Plus titles for the month of September are going live right now. Pretty solid month, maybe not as good as some of the recent months because I thought July and August were absolute bangers. This one not quite as good, but still some good stuff there. And the side-scrolling action platformer in Lucid has been announced for PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. That'll be coming in 2024. More on that at the end of this video. But first up, Gundam Evolution. If you're looking to play the game on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, you'll have to wait a little bit longer, a little over 2 months, and it'll be dropping on November 30th. You've got a couple of new Gundams joining the roster as well. Unicorn Gundam Zaku 2 and Mahiro. This is obviously not the style of Gundam game that I personally would get super excited for. However, I could definitely understand why Bandai Namco is taking a formula like a hero shooter, putting the Gundam label on it, putting a Gundam look to it, because Gundam's just a very notable IP. And hey, if you played this game during early access, like during the beta period, a lot of people did end up enjoying it. Gundam Evolution is a fast-paced and immersive team-based FPS where you pilot mobile suits from the smash hit Gundam anime. You've got a variety of different Gundam that you can play as, each with their unique abilities and different, strengths and weaknesses. And on top of that, you have the G-Maneuver ability. On top of their innate abilities, units are equipped with powerful G-Maneuver effects. These effects, which can be activated when the meter reaches 100%, vary from unit to unit. You'll be able to push your units to the limit. So Season 1 is dropping on September 21st, and they have an 8-minute video uploaded right now going over the mission briefing of Season 1. So I think this game is going to do really well, at least initially. And I think with an IP like Gundam attached to it, there's going to be an influx of people that come September 21st with the PC release, they're going to be playing it, they're going to be streaming it, it's going to get a lot of promotion. It's just, where is this game going to be? Let's say 6 months from now, well after the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 release, Xbox One and Xbox Series as well. That's really going to be the gauge to see the sustainability level of this game. You know, Gundam's an IP that I think they can do a lot more with on a gaming front, but I just don't know if the Gundam fan base is going to be super into a hero-based first-person shooter, but at the end of the day, you got the Gundam label on it, you got the Gundam look on it, you look to have a lot of mobile suits represented in the game. As long as the game is good and you're keeping it updated and you're keeping a lot of variety and keeping it consistently polished, I think the game can turn out well. Again, it's going to be up to Bandai Namco to keep people invested. And sometimes a game can be really good, and there's just so many free-to-play and multiplayer games on the market that, you know, free-to-play games and these multiplayer-focused titles, they target an audience that those people, and just people in general, are not jumping between, you know, 10 to 15 multiplayer titles. You usually have 1, 2, maybe 3 at a time that you're playing, and then, you know, maybe you'll cycle one out, maybe you'll drop one, maybe you'll bring one in, whatever the case may be. If you're talking about a game being single-player oriented, you know, people are playing a game, moving on to the next, and you can jump between game to game fairly quickly. That's not really the case with a multiplayer game where the idea is to keep you guys invested for a long time. So we'll see how Gundam Evolution turns out. Again, September 21st for the PC launch, November 30th for PS5, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Alright, moving on from that, PlayStation is dropping the September PlayStation Plus games. Again, while I wouldn't say this month is as good as the July lineup or the August lineup, still fairly decent all things considered. Need for Speed Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Toem. Toem's not a game I'm super familiar with, but it's got a really cool look to it, and it's been received pretty well. Need for Speed Heat, in my opinion, while I don't think, you know, everybody's gonna absolutely love the game, I thought it was a pretty decent arcade racer, and for it just to be thrown into PlayStation Plus, I think that's a solid offering. The one issue is, like, if you have a Plus subscription and an EA Access subscription, I don't like when there's crossover between subscription services, just because that does lessen the value of each respective subscription service. I don't know how many of you guys are running an EA Play subscription, but nonetheless, NFS Heat will be there as well. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, while it's not the Grand Blue Fantasy Relink everybody is looking forward to on the JRPG front, that's a pretty artistic and stylish fighting game as well. Decent single player component, and I think that's a game, you know, if you like the look of it, at the very least, you'll mess around with it for a little bit, but quite a bit of variety. You have an arcade racer, you have an anime-looking fighting game, an anime-stylistic fighting game, and Toem, a lower-key title with a cool art style in its own right. So, a lot of pretty decent stuff coming in September, decent updates coming to PlayStation Plus Extra later this month as well, so I think overall, fairly decent, all things considered. And lastly, the side-scrolling action platformer in Lucid will be coming to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and a bunch of other platforms come 2024. The game was just announced, a Metroidvania side-scrolling action platformer with a really cool art style. An overview of the game notes, Lucid presents a heartfelt adventure in a crystalline fantasy, venture across a massive overworld, solve challenging puzzle dungeons, and conquer white-knuckle combat to unlock powerful new abilities, revealing more secrets in previously explored areas. Essentially, the Metroidvania style of gameplay. Tightly tuned for platforming perfection, Lucid embraces the flow state fun of genre giants like Celeste while writing a love letter to the 2D golden age of Mega Man X, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid. Explore an enigmatic land replete with crystals. In the wake of the apocalyptic Great Fall, the Lucid Giant has fallen, and only the few remaining Sentinels, practitioners of the crystal arts, can stop the corruption soaking the land. Take up the fight as Owen, a young stone-skinned junior Sentinel, seek the shattered pieces of the Lucid Giant and confront the ancient celestial entity. Again, game definitely has a throwback art style, so when you're talking about being a love letter to titles such as Mega Man X, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid, definitely see that shine through quite as well. Now, the game's not going to be out for a while, currently scheduled for a 2024 release window, so, you know, have the game on your radar. I think it's got a really cool look. I think it's a game that a lot of you guys would probably be interested in, but one that can get added to the wish list for now, and as we get closer to the release, I'll keep you guys posted on when we do hear a release date. But that is going to do it for me. Again, Gundam Evolution, while it's not, you know, the big budget, maybe AAA action, adventure, single-player Gundam game that I want, I can understand why that might be something that Bandai Namco doesn't want to do at this stage of the game. That will be coming to PC on September 21st, November 30th for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. So if you do have a PC, I don't believe the game is too difficult to run, so you'll be able to check that out. Yeah, it's not too difficult to run at all, so you can play it on PC, but ultimately the PS4 and PS5 release will be happening on November 30th. PlayStation Plus titles, again, not as good as July or August in my opinion. Hopefully you guys redeem the August game, because Pro Skater 1 and 2, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Yakuza Like a Dragon, Little Nightmares, that was a stacked month of some great stuff. But definitely check out Need for Speed Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Toem. I still think that's a pretty solid month, all things considered. And while Lucid not going to be out for a while, coming in 2024, a pretty retro Metroidvania style game that I think some of you guys will have interest in. And yeah, keep that on your radar. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.